All right. Well, I switched planes. We are now in pretty much the same plane, other than it's a tail dragger. We just landed here, fueled up, I took off, and flew down the valley. But I could not get that plane to trim. I don't think that plane is right. I don't think the controls work properly. I mean, everything's the same in this plane as what we were flying, other than as I was taking off and flying, the speeds were just horrendous. We'd have killed ourselves in the valley or in the canyon trying to fly that thing. So I opted to turn around and come back. I don't think this plane starts. I don't know why I turned my key and it will not start. So we will do Control E. And it runs. So yeah, that other plane, I just could not even get close to trimming, power settings, anything. I mean, it's a good plane to fly well above, but to actually fly something, I want everything perfect. And we got more things on the dash, everything. I think this is a lot better plane. It is a tail dragger. There's nothing wrong with tail draggers. It's just a little different. So let's go ahead and get our mixture set. There's our mixture. Set our altimeter. This is the view in a tail dragger. Of course, you can't see right out the front of you, so you kind of look off to your side and you kind of zigzag. So I look down the taxiway that way, and then I can move over here and look down the taxiway. I can just go straight and look out the sides, but I have no idea if someone, a car, or a plane sneaks out of there. So if I want to make sure my nose is clear, that's how you do it. I don't have too far to go, so I'm not going to worry about it. A little different landing, taking off. I actually want to push the yoke or stick forward to bring my tail off and level the plane off and then take off. That's all done for us on the tricycle gear. We're just sitting there, but this is a little different. I'll hold my stick full forward, and as my airspeed increases, we'll level the plane off, bring the back tail off, and I'm kind of rusty at this, so I think everything's good. So forward on the stick. Looks like I'm a little, there it comes back. Whoop. Now we're just going to kind of hold it there for my airspeed to come up. That's a little more squirrely. And let's take off. Yeah, I better practice them. Oh, this feels much better. So let's bring our prop back. Yeah, this plane's fit. This plane works. That other plane doesn't work. So I'm gonna do 24-21. That's my original numbers I wanted to go with, and I think it's close. The other one I had 7 and 24, and I was still doing 110 knots. So 21 and 24, I just want to get leveled off here, and anything under, there's 20. I don't want to go too much over 90 knots. So maybe 2375. Ooh, I like that. There's 89, 90. That's about the speed I want. And we have a little climbing. Nice. Okay. 20, 23, 60. So I'm going to raise that up just a little bit. So I want to get 2375 or so. And maybe just a little more. 20. Alright, I think I like that. We might just do a little tweaking. Alright, here's Salmon, Idaho. Here's our river. Still creating a little bit too much power, so we're going to drop down to 23 RPM.
$500.
All right. Take your Dramamine, make sure your belts are full, tight, and hopefully you don't get airsick. A little faster than I still want to go. I don't know. I would like 7 knots slower. I think we got a pretty good tailwind because we are doing 107 and then we're doing almost 109. So a 2 knot tailwind. It's alright. There's our highway. And now if we have an engine failure in the canyon, we're pretty much going to dump it in the river. There is not going to be a plan B. If something to break and we can still fly, we'll just continue flying river and try to gain altitude as much as possible. If we can continue a climb rate, it doesn't have to be drastic. If we can get 100, 200 feet a minute, we will just continue flying the river channel and get higher and higher. But if the engine conks out, we're basically landing in the river. Not gonna have very long to figure that one out. looks good. Everything's in the green. Fuel pressure, fuel gallons per hour is 7. And here we go. It's not going to be too bad right now, but just going to follow the river channel for a little bit. Get it trimmed. We got 18 and 24. And 90 knots, so that's a little better. We're going to be brushing a lot of airspeed off as we continue flying. Start off nice and easy. Get used to that view because the sides are only going to get higher. Let's see how well it takes this. Basically all you're doing is just reading the canyon walls ahead of you and getting set up, watching your nose to make sure your altitude stays somewhat good. And I know I can look down at my dash and see my little cheat sheet, but it's easier just to keep your eyes out the window. Boat dock there. This one I wish I had my stick. Yoke's a little tough. So when you're in a turn, the plane wants to lose altitude. The minute you level off, it wants to climb. So you're constantly given inputs forward and back, side to side, and a little bit of foot on the direction that you want to turn. And you just keep that up every time the turn changes. Your feet are doing something different, your eyes are doing something different. We're still next to the main highway. I'm not quite sure. It turns, and the main highway goes one way, and then and I think it's probably right here. Yep. This is where everybody bails off. So the main highway goes to the right. Let's see if that's right. Yep. And you'll make a turn here, and this is a graveled road. 20, 30 miles, 25 miles. And this is where everybody goes fishing. No cell service. And we will fly. There's a few bridges and a few fingers. And then we'll see probably a boat dock or a campground. I think that's called Corn Creek, if I remember right. And then that's as far as the road goes. Then after that, you're by boat. So we're definitely going to fly at least that far, but that's 20 plus miles. And it's just going to get tighter and tighter. I haven't found my sweet trim yet. So this is the famous Salmon River. There are some houses or cabins down here, but you're pretty much in the Idaho outback wilderness area. See, the sides just get higher and higher. The river kind of climbs the bank there. The map's a little bit off. kind of squishy. So if I go quiet, I'm just going to be flying the plane. There's some cabins. We could actually land right there in them grass fields pretty easily. So it's nice that you can see through your roof, because I'm looking pretty much at the top around them corners. Gonna have to talk some of the guys that fish this river. My brother knows it really well, to see if he can watch this and see how accurate the river is. I've only been down here once in my whole life. I just, for a day cruise, left the house, come up here, and drove to the end of the road, turned around, and drove home. So I kind of know what it's like, but guys I know, they have exactly their fishing holes and all kinds of stuff, so they know this river very well. So yeah, if we had an engine failure right now, there's not a lot we could do. I could try to land on that, what you would so call a road, but the best thing to do is just start climbing and just stay. The higher you get, the wider your path is gonna get, so. Not a lot of sunshine makes it down in here. It's kind of dark. I think early morning would be a better time to fly this, because we would have... Oh, there's a bridge. I wonder if I could fly underneath that. I remember a bridge. Now it looks like the road crosses over. You can just see how higher the mountains around us are getting. I don't feel a lot of wind, so I don't think we have any wind blasting down the canyon. Road's kind of painted on the side of the mountain. Getting into a little snow. There's a little fork in the river. I'm sure the fisher guys know what that is. I vaguely remember it. As long as we continue downstream, we're guaranteed that we're not going to run into anything. I don't have to worry about panic climbing out of this, because I know it's all downhill and this river flows, so if I can make the corner, we are good. That's the worst thing to do, is fly into a canyon that actually boxes off on you. If you can't do a 180-degree turn without hitting something. This you don't have to worry about it. You're flying down a river, it's open-ended. You're never gonna box yourself in and plant your plane into the side of the mountain unless you don't make a corner. That's why I kind of chose my speed, and I'm not touching my throttle at all. It's just cruising. I'm in a happy spot above stalling. I can really crank on a turn pretty good without worrying about stalling, and then I'm well under my maneuverable speed. So there's just kind of a nice little sweet speed. Actually, my legs get tired first because they're always, I'm pushing with my heel and planting my back in the back of my seat. And that's where my stress point is in my legs. So my legs actually get tired first than anything. It's not a lot of rudder pressure. I mean, it's just something about like that, but it just completes your turn. I think that little line right there, there's a spot in the river. I'm not so sure that's not a, oh, what do they call it? A little tram that goes across. I'll have to ask some peeps about that. But I think there's a cabin on the opposite side of the river, which there was. And that line across, that's how they get across the river, is a little tram that they have manual. I think that's it. Oh, it's getting pretty tight up here. And a little bit of snow on one side. There's another fork on the road. Better choose wisely. Or fork in the river, I should say. Not the road. Oh, you like them straightaways where you can relax a little bit. Let your fingers get some blood pressure back in them. Probably one of these big straightaways, I should switch my fuel. Be a lot easier if I had my head set. See quite a ways down the canyon there. That is so awesome though. Thing is, you never know the corner coming up, if it's tight, if it's sweeping. That'd be a sick feeling if it was so tight you couldn't make it. But I'm feeling pretty comfortable with, we get pretty much put this thing pretty much on its side and pull back and make it. If the river can make it, I think I can. At this speed, because the river cut this channel, so it's not going to cut a 90 degree by no means. Watch the next corner be so sharp I crash. I definitely don't have this river memorized, so it's not like I don't know what's around the next corner. That's a pretty sharp one there, and it did just fine. And you just roll right back out. Didn't lose much speed. So yeah, I'm pretty confident this plane can pretty much take anything the river throws at me. I think that was about our steepest cut yet. Just as long as it doesn't stall on us. One of them steep, because your stall speed increases at a steeper bank angle, so you got to remember that. You change the load factors on your plane and your stall speed, so even though you're way above your stall, if you're in a really steep bank, it still can stall. Because we flirt. Every once in a while I look down and I'll see a 77. I think that's the lowest I've seen. I gotta look. Popping out, there's your 78. I go faster when I level out, but when I bank and really pull back on the stick, it bleeds my speed off because we're 85 there. This shows you I'm really not watching my dash at all. I'm watching as far down the canyon as I possibly can, and most of it's my peripheral vision with the cowling. I'm trying to keep that rolling on the river. If you notice, the nose is on the outside corner of the river as much as possible. So my eyesight's as far down the canyon as I can, but I'm watching my cowling float along the river. So that's kind of how I'm flying this. And then places like this you can relax, but you're still looking as far down the canyon to see what, like right there, that looks like we're gonna have a tight right left. It's a right left, but it's not too tight. Flying this with a stick would be so much easier because I got both hands on the yoke, and it's a lot of banking and pulling and pushing when it could just be one hand fluid motion. Do a 1 or 2 o'clock instead of a 3 and 12. There are some advantages to a stick, so have to. But then I gotta change my whole cockpit of my airplane to fly it, so I'll have to come up with something ingenious on that. Like a nice right with a full right loop, or left with a full right loop, maybe. Oh, no. Not bad at all. Relax time. Drop down and skim my wheels in the water. Oh, we lost our road. I haven't been paying attention. We might have. Yeah, I think we've made it to the end where they stop. You can't go any farther. The only way you can go down this is like we are doing, or a boat. I thought I would see like the boat dock at Corn Creek, but I might have not been paying attention. It is getting kind of bumpy down in here, so I don't know if our winds are increasing. I know I'm getting TB. This looks like a good one. We could almost land right there. I'll have to watch the video and see where I missed. I thought Corn Creek would show up, but must have been too busy flying the plane or... So I don't know if a person realizes when I'm in a steep bank, I'm actually turning the plane with my elevator. Going nose up is how I turn my plane. So I put my plane into a bank, but then as I'm bringing my nose up, which was a really steep bank, is actually pulling it to the left or the right. So just because I put the plane in a bank really doesn't mean that's how it turns. If I'm at a 50 to 60 degree bank, I'm pulling back on my yoke, and that's actually what's giving me my tight turn. Oh, look at this, it's turning to snow. That's cool. Summer to winter. Spring to winter, I should say. Well, that's cool. So yeah, see, I just roll on my bank, but the more pressure I pull back, the tighter I turn. And then I just bring the roll out of it. That's kind of cool. Getting into winter. Wonder how far this is gonna go. Because quite low. We're at 3,000 feet, so we started at 4, so we've actually dropped 1,000 foot in elevation flying down the river. Not quite sure what the elevation of Lewiston is. I would gander at my sectional, but I'm a little busy. I don't like the snow. I can't see the canyon very well with it all being white. I can see a lot better when there's greens and dirt, everything white. It just all kind of, the right side and the left side blend together. So we need to get out of this snow. And even my nose is, my cowlin's white, so I don't have a lot of reference, peripheral vision to fly the plane by. If it wasn't for them trees, it's about all I can identify. Oh, looks like we're getting the river back. Oh, I see the mountain peak ahead of us is green, so this might just be one little section that hasn't hit the spring button yet. Definitely makes it hard flying in the white. At least we got the river now to see right there. It's kind of hard to judge your walls. Everything blends together. That's a different perspective. At least we get to see what it looks like in the wintertime. That looks like we're getting green again. That'll be nice. So now I can see my sides better. Man, I think a person could land right there. I bet the Forest Service has places like that that they can land. By the time I see a place to land, I blow by it because I'm not even close to being configured for a landing. Look, there's a clearing right there. I bet that's landing. Let's go take a look at this. Maybe not. Kind of looks like it though. Pretty small. I bet that is a little landing strip. Person could do a 180 and configure, and you'd have to definitely land going upstream, not downstream. I don't know if I could figure it out or not. Now my plane wants to climb all of a sudden for some reason. I'm way up here. What are you doing up here? Must be getting tired. Oh, look, civilization. Oh, there's a place you could land easy. I don't know where we're at, though. Hola, amigos. Don't mind me. Looks like our mountains are kind of spreading out a little bit, not so straight up and down. The thing with doing this, I have no clue where I am. This eventually ends up in Lewiston, Idaho, but it might take a week to get. The mountains just keep going on and on. You think, oh, you'll fly out of them here soon, and every time you pull into something like this, you look, and it's like, well, there's another 5 miles of mountains. And we're dropping quite a bit. We're down to 2,700 feet. I've actually flown farther in this river than I thought I thought I would at least get to Corn Creek. I thought 20 miles of this would be pretty stressful, tiring. It seemed like we lost the road pretty quick. And about every time you think, well, I could just start climbing, you see like this ahead of us, and it's like, it's always that what's around the corner. I'd hate to pull out of here and fly direct somewhere and kind of miss something. I'm still kind of enjoying this view out the window. Plane's performing pretty good. Nice and comfortable. It flies very well. I'm glad we switched planes because that other plane would have killed us. This thing has great power setting. Wow, wonder what happened here. Is that a fire, or why is all the trees gone? Hey, look at that. I'm going way too fast. They don't bleed off speed like I thought a cub would. I thought a cub would just pull the power back, it would stop. Yeah, that's right. Mountain Ridge looks kind of bare, like either a forest fire knocked the timber down. Well, now I screwed up my trim by changing my throttle. Now it seems like I'm going way too fast. there's just not enough time to plan for a landing. There's been a few spots we could have landed pretty easily, but you'd have to be out of the canyon, drop down in the canyon all configured, and your speeds are set, your flaps. Doing a nice cruise like this and a half a mile and be prepared to land is just not going to happen. Things happen too fast. Put floats on my plane and just land right here. Need my stick. I could fly so much lower, so much more comfortable if I had a stick right now. That water looks awesome though. Things just happen way too slow with the yoke. We got a road back. We must be getting closer to civilization. I think that's a road. Oh, it might just be the beach. Landing strip, maybe. Yep, that's not a road. Now that's a landing strip right there. Look at that. Yes, sirree, Bobby. How about we land there? That's a legit airport. Let's get out of my buzzing the river and let's do this. Not quite sure where that is, but we will, well, it's identified so we can actually call it a day there. And that's a stall warning at a steep turn. Not quite sure which way the wind's blowing up here. That's going to be the problem. But I think coming up the other way, coming downstream, just like we were, have to pay attention. we want to go into this. So it looks like we had a lot of space right here. I'll probably screw up and stall and kill us. Okay, we just need to find a place, turn around. I guess I could look at my map on my dash to know where that... I just never look at my dash, so I wasn't even... Okay, we're gonna nail this. I just need to turn around. Alright, let's slow this thing down. I just need to trim this thing. Gotta remember I'm in a tail dragger. Nice. I have no clue where we're at, but we're here. Good day to, good place to spend the night. Perfect. Well, let's take a look. C48. Let's see where C48 is. C48. Wilson Bar. United States Forest Service. That's where we are. Wilson Bar. Doesn't say private or nothing. I don't know. There's a little place just from the front of us that is a private. Oh, look at that. How cool is that? I think we'll spend the night here. And this is where we will pick up. How far are we? Wow. We flew a long time and hardly got anywhere. We're about halfway to Lewiston. But that is a cool little plane. Flies good. I don't know how much more flying the river will do, but that was fun. Hope y'all enjoyed it. Listen to the birds chirp. Nice. Well, we'll call it a day right there. Thank y'all for riding along. Hit subscribe if you haven't yet, and we will see you next time. Great day. Bye.